Hello everybody, I'm Karryshh and I welcome you to another recap video. There's a story in Japan in which a woman boarded a train and she went to a parallel universe. That's the story of Kisaragi Station, which began in 2004, where a girl posted about some creepy stuff happening to her and people assumed that she is in another dimension. Years later, they made a movie about it. It's called Kisaragi Station, and today we're recapping that one. The movie showcases the actual urban legend as well as some fiction work. It's enjoyable, but it isn't scary. The atmosphere is indeed creepy in some scenes. Anyways, stick around till end. Go ahead and like this video, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel. The more you engage with the video, the more people will be able to find it. You can join me on Instagram where we can connect. And with that said, sit back, grab your snacks as I recap Kisaragi Station. The movie begins with a pair of badly injured hands and someone is running desperately through the mountains. From here, the scene shifts to a girl named Tatsumi. Now you see, Tatsumi was obsessed with a woman named Hasumi, whose story had become famous all over the internet. It's about Kisaragi Station, and she somehow tracks down where Hasumi lives and decides to meet her in person. When Tatsumi arrives at her place, she notices other schoolgirls leaving Hasumi's house, and you must remember this scene for the end. Once inside, Tatsumi finally meets Hasumi face to face. She also notices research papers pinned up on Hasumi's wall, meaning Hasumi is also doing some kind of research. Then after a short introduction, it's revealed that Tatsumi is doing a thesis paper for her college, and it's about parallel dimensions. Now Tatsumi wants Hasumi to share her entire story of what happened to her back on January 8th, 2004. Hasumi now shares the story and the film then flashes back. We see Hasumi, who worked as a teacher in the past, and she was on the last train leaving Shin Hamamatsu station. Everything seemed normal until suddenly the train grew silent and everyone disappeared. The train then entered a tunnel even though there wasn't supposed to be a tunnel on that route. A blinding light then filled the carriage and Hasumi blacked out. When she came to her senses, the world outside had completely changed. Night had turned into day and the train was running through mountainous terrain that shouldn't have existed. As she moved around trying to make sense of it, she discovered she wasn't alone. 5 other passengers had also somehow ended up there. Asuka, a high school student, Sota and Miki, who are 2 close friends, Takeshi, a lazy drifter, and one more, Daisuke. Anyway, they all eventually woke up and they're confused and scared. The train soon stopped at a station called Kisaragi Station, a place that didn't exist anywhere in Japan. That's when they realized they had slipped into some kind of alternate dimension. The group decided to get off and look around. Asuka then asked Hasumi where the restroom was, but then Asuka suddenly noticed something evil on the station wall. But Hasumi couldn't quite catch that. Despite the weirdness, she placed her trust mostly in Asuka. Then everyone started exploring, hoping to find help, but the town outside the station was eerily empty. Not a single soul anywhere, just silent houses and streets. Now suddenly, Shota and Miki ran back to the station because something had happened to Daisuke. Asuka and Hasumi didn't find out what happened and they also go back to the station where they found Shota and Miki shaken with fear. Shota and Miki doesn't say anything and now they both starts going down the tracks thinking it would take them back home. But that's when things got terrifying. They suddenly heard a horrifying scream, Daisuke's scream, meaning something bad had happened to him. Now after this, everyone decides to go along the tracks back in the mountains because it should lead them back to where they came from. However, no matter how far they go, they don't find anyone. Soon after, Miki received a video call from Daisuke, but she was afraid to answer, and that's when Hasumi took the phone and answered the call. On the video call, she was shocked to see the face of Daisuke, which was distorted, something twisted and inhuman. Then suddenly, from the mountains above, the sound of drums began to echo, and Takeshi's body suddenly convulsed. His veins turned black, his eyes bulged, and his head swelled grotesquely until it burst, sending the group fleeing in horror. Now they ran and ran and ran, and soon after, Miki collapsed from exhaustion. Shota told Miki to get up, but when she didn't listen, he pulled out a knife because he was quick-tempered and aggressive, and he just wanted to cause chaos without any reason. But just then, an old man appeared near the tracks, and he yells at them not to walk on the railway, warning them that it was dangerous. But before they could even process it, he vanished, only to reappear right in front of him. And then he attacked the group. Now the group tried to escape, but then Daisuke reappeared and he was also transformed into something evil. Daisuke attacked Shota, and during this struggle, the old man ended up grabbing Miki before bursting into flames and disappeared. But with this blast, Daisuke also disappeared, and it became clear this parallel world was crawling with unknown entities that wanted all of him dead. Now whatever was happening to them, it made Shota increasingly paranoid. He started believing that Hasumi and Asuka will eventually abandon him. And in that madness, he tried to attack him, but Hasumi fought back, stabbing him with a ped in his thighs and managing to escape with Asuka. The two of them then ran away and eventually found themselves standing before a dark tunnel. The tunnel was named Isa Nuki Tunnel, which is similar to Japan's real haunted place, Inunaki Tunnel. Now the two girls run into the tunnel, which was completely engulfed in darkness. After running for a while, Hasumi collapses because she was badly injured from her fight with Shota earlier. Asuka tries to help Hasumi, but Hasumi says, "Please go ahead and leave me alone." And then that's what Asuka did. Soon after that, Shota appears again and he attacked on Hasumi, but in the last moment, Asuka came back and he fights him off. Then suddenly, every single light inside the tunnel explodes. Hasumi switches on her phone's flashlight only to hear strange voices like this. Ha, ha, ha. Which was super creepy, to be honest. Not only that, but whatever entity was making the noise, it had already unalived Shota as well. And terrified, the two girls ran to save their lives and managed to escape the tunnel. But Hasumi cannot move any further. Her injuries were too severe. Now Asuka here tries to encourage Hasumi, and back in the present, Hasumi breaks down in tears while telling this part of the story. She admits she's been haunted for years by the thought that she couldn't save Asuka, that maybe if she had made different choices, Asuka could have lived instead of her. But how? We'll find that out later. Then back in the story, a car suddenly stops near the girls. A driver, who appears normal at first, offers the girl to take him to the hospital. Relieved, the girls get in, believing they're finally back in the real world, but halfway through the ride, the driver starts acting strange, muttering unsettling things, and before long, he also transforms into something evil. The girls somehow managed to escape the car and they ran into the dense forest, and Hasumi was now barely able to stand, but Asuka refuses to leave her behind. Eventually, they reach a shrine which was isolated, and there they find a glowing portal. It was obviously looking like that it was the only chance of them returning home, but before they can reach it, the driver reappears and blocks their path. Hasumi then picks up a stick and fights the driver off, but it has no effect. The driver grabs Hasumi and tries to unalive her, but Asuka came and pinned the driver down, telling Hasumi to go through the portal alone. But just then, all the people who had died before re-emerge as demonic versions of themselves. Now here, Hasumi makes a desperate choice. She grabs the evil driver and tells Asuka to go into the portal first, but as soon as Asuka enters the portal bursts into flames and explodes, killing her instantly. Not only that, but after this instantly, Hasumi is thrust back into the real world. But you see, Hasumi soon realized that the date is January 8th, 2011, which means she was stuck in that evil dimension for 7 whole years. Back in the present, the story ends here. Hasumi now explains that after returning, she spends months in the hospital recovering from that case. Now here, I wanna tell you that whatever we saw up until now was actually 70% part of the story related to the actual urban legend of Kisaragi station that actually happened in 2004. And from here on, whatever we're gonna see, it's gonna be fiction. Now Hasumi tells Tatsumi that she's never stopped regretting what happened. She wonders constantly if things would have turned out differently. I mean, if you look at the story, if Hasumi had entered the portal first, she would have died and Asuka would return to real world. But that didn't happen. And that's why Hasumi now have a new theory. She wonders if they had gone into the portal together, maybe both of them could have survived. But instead, she lived and Asuka didn't. And after this, Tatsumi make Hasumi check her location history from the night she vanished. Then, Tatsumi discovered that Hasumi was exhausted that night and she had dozed off multiple times on different trains, ending up in wrong places repeatedly. Eventually, she boarded the very last train on Shin Hamamatsu station, which was the one that led her into that other world. Now this made Tatsumi think about the famous elevator game. According to that legend, if someone presses the floor in certain sequence in an elevator like 4, 2, 6, 2, 10 and then 5, they will get transported to another world. That's why Tatsumi starts wondering if maybe Hasumi on the night she disappeared unknowingly did the same thing with trains by dozing off and repeatedly boarding and exiting at a perfect station. Maybe she had accidentally triggered some kind of ritual, one that worked just like the elevator game. This theory makes a lot of sense to Tatsumi, and when she leaves, she decides that she has to test it for herself. Tatsumi now sets out on the same journey. She deliberately boards and exits the train in the exact same pattern Hasumi had taken by mistake. Eventually, she takes the very last train at Shin Hamamatsu station, and sure enough, her theory was dead on. Just like the elevator game, she had cracked a hidden pattern. Suddenly, silence falls over the train and every single passenger vanishes. Then the train enters the same tunnel from Hasumi's story. Tatsumi then loses consciousness, and when she wakes up, she realizes that she too has entered that other world. Now here's the eerie part. The people inside the train are the exact same one from Hasumi's story. Not only that, but they all act exactly the same way, saying and doing same things as before, meaning their memories are wiped out. The train finally halts at Kisaragi station and everyone gets off. Now at the station, Asuka asks Tatsumi where the restroom is, and just like before, Asuka spots something terrifying on the wall, but in this moment Tatsumi realizes something big. Actually, you see, everyone on this station is trapped in a spiral loop which is repeating itself over and over again. The same events happen again and again. People die, the loop resets, and it all plays out identically. But this time, here's a twist. Tatsumi is inside the loop and she already knows what's coming next. She even sees what Asuka had spotted on the wall. It was bizarre whale-like structure. Now Tatsumi was determined to make a change. She wanted to help everyone. And that's why she makes it her mission. Anyway, after this, everyone started leaving the station. But here, Tatsumi warns them not to go outside because she knows exactly who will die next. Of course, they don't listen, and that's why she follows them outside. Then soon after, Shota and Daisuke breaks out in a fight. Tatsumi tries to break out the fight, but something happens. A strange whale-like entity grabbed Shota. Then Shota's veins started turning black, and whatever happened with Daisuke earlier happens with Shota this time. So basically, the actions of Tatsumi shifted something in the loop. Instead of Daisuke, Shota died. And that's why maybe the cycle will not play out perfectly the same. At the station, Tatsumi tells everyone that they need to move along the track because she knows the way. Everyone then follows Tatsumi down the mountains, and Asuka ended up bonding with her, and Tatsumi assures her that this time she will save her no matter what. Now soon, Miki gets a video call from Shota, which was earlier from Daisuke. Tatsumi picks up the call as she sees the horrifying face of Shota instead of Daisuke's. Not only that, now Takeshi starts feeling sick, and then out of nowhere, the sound of drums echoes through the forest. Obviously, Tatsumi realizes that Takeshi is supposed to die right here, and that's why she tells everyone to run ahead. But Asuka doesn't abandon Takeshi, she goes and helps him. In that struggle, Tatsumi spots an inhuman creature, like a massive whale-like entity, which tries to grab Takeshi. But this time, he survives, and that's when Tatsumi realizes something huge. People aren't dying on their own here, they're being hunted, unalive deliberately by evil entities again and again to keep the cycle going. Not long after, they come face to face with the terrifying old man Hasumi had mentioned in her story. Tatsumi instantly make everyone run away and the old man attacks him. Then, the evil version of Shota appears and he grabs Asuka, but this time Tatsumi remembers exactly how things played out before, and that's why she cleverly changes the outcome. Here Tatsumi pushes evil version of Shota towards the old man. The old man grabs Shota and bursts into flames with him, and that's why this time everyone survives. Now all 5 survivors reach the mysterious tunnel. They enter inside together and shockingly, they all make it out alive on the other side. For Tatsumi, it was both relief and confusion. She realizes the cycle isn't a flawless 100% repeat every time. Each restart comes with small changes, tiny cracks in the loops that someone determined enough can exploit. And that someone is Tatsumi. Now outside the tunnel, everyone sees the same car waiting for him with the same evil driver. Everyone is about to get in when Tatsumi suddenly smashes the driver's head with a big rock, removing him from their path beforehand. Everyone is shocked and scared of her now, but she tells them that this time isn't for questions. They get in and continue forward with her driving, and Tatsumi leads them towards the portal, planning to get everyone home, but on the way, the evil driver reappears right in front of the car. However, the group crushes the driver, but he still doesn't die. Everyone panic and ran out of the car, but Takeshi gets stuck inside cause his seat belt won't unbuckle, and soon after, the driver disappears and reappears inside the car, ended up unaliving him. Meanwhile, Tatsumi and the others make it to the place where the shrine was supposed to be, but instead of the shrine, they find a huge mysterious house. Tatsumi was confused, but with no other choice, they go inside since it was already late at night. Now they barely sit down for relax cause suddenly the evil version of Shota attacks Daisuke. Miki tries to protect him but ends up getting captured too, and all 3 of them explode with a blast. Now only Tatsumi and Asuka are left alive. They try to run for their lives, but the evil driver appears again, using his powers to set the entire house in some kind of fire. Tatsumi and Asuka ran desperately, but everything is blocked. They even came across the evil version of Takeshi, but in the end, they end up going inside a room and survive. From that very room, they also spot the portal to the real world, and Tatsumi's plan is simple. If they both jump in together, they can both survive according to Hasumi, but before they can, the evil drivers grabs Asuka. Now here, Tatsumi freezes. She obviously knows that if she goes alone in the portal, she will die, and Asuka will survive automatically. But the thing is, she doesn't want to die, and that's why she decides to betray Asuka. Tatsumi ended up holding the driver down, and she tells Asuka to go into the portal alone cause she knows that way Asuka will die and she will survive. Asuka does exactly what she says, but the portal this time doesn't explode like before. Instead, Asuka's voice comes from the other side and she tells Tatsumi that she's in the real world. She immediately runs towards the portal, but before she can enter, the portal disappears and now she's left trapped forever in the parallel world. Broken and hopeless, she collapses in tears, and then a black hole appears in the sky. Now here we understand that the endless cycle of this parallel universe will begin again, but this time Asuka will not be inside of it. She has survived this game, and instead of Asuka, Tatsumi is now stuck here. Now back in the real world, Asuka finds herself safe and sound, and there she runs into Hasumi. Now of course, Asuka doesn't remember her, she had long forgotten her, but here where the movie reveals its biggest twist. You see, years earlier when Hasumi was stuck in the parallel world, it was actually Asuka who saved her, and in the end, Hasumi was the one who jumped through the portal alone, not Asuka. The portal did not explode in her story, which means she lied so she can save Asuka. Cause you see, ever since that day, she had dedicated her life to research all about parallel universes. Also, she could find a way to save Asuka one day. Not only that, but Hasumi had discovered that only one person can ever escape the parallel world at one time, meaning 5 people are always stuck there. Whenever a 6th person enters Kisaragi station, one of those 6 can escape, but 5 people must stay there. That's why Hasumi lied to Tatsumi all along. It was the only way to protect her friend, and in the end, the plan worked and her years of guilt finally lifted because she's now succeeded in saving Asuka. Now in the post-credit scene, we see 2 schoolgirls, the same one Tatsumi had met at the very beginning of the movie. Remember, they were coming out of Hasumi's house? Well, you see, one of them is Hasumi's niece, and she knows all about Hasumi's research. That's why today she shoots herself in a video and she goes to the parallel universe to investigate and blog about it. The girl also does the exact same ritual and she arrives at the Kisaragi station, and this time, she finds Tatsumi, who's now permanently stuck in this loop, and that's where this movie ends. Now let's talk about the legend I told you about in the beginning of the movie. Actually, you see, the entire story was inspired by a real Japanese urban legend. In 2004, on a social media app called 2chan, a girl suddenly began posting late at night about a strange experience. And just like in the movie, she described being trapped in another world. Unlike the film, she wasn't with a group, she was completely alone. She kept posting updates describing tunnels she saw, how she met a strange driver, and bizarre landscapes that didn't exist anywhere in Japan. She even managed to call her parents once, telling them she was lost, but they thought she was joking. Her final post became darker, saying that her phone battery was dying and the driver is muttering some kind of evil stuff. Then she disappeared. No one ever heard from her again. To this day, no one knows what really happened to her. Some people believe she accidentally slipped into another dimension, just like this story. But some believe that she was just some person playing a prank. Now, whatever the reality was, this mystery has haunted the internet ever since. So what do you think? Did Hasumi really cross into a parallel world, or was something else going on that night? So this was the recap video of Kisaragi Station Japanese horror. I hope you have liked this video. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel. It will help me grow further. The more you engage with this video, the more people will find it later on. You can also join me on Telegram channel and watch this movie there. Now if you want to connect with me, you can join me on Instagram where I reply every single one of you. And do not forget to go and subscribe to a third channel where I'm posting content about mysteries of the world. All the links are in the description box. For now, I see you all in the next one. Till then, stay awake because they always see you.